So I would say, first of all, everybody needs to take a beat. Let's slow this train down and let's just take a look. The truth of the matter is, there are a lot of really good colleges out there. There's a lot of opportunity out there for those kids, again, that are college bound because some people are going to technical school. Some people aren't sure they want to go to college. That's a whole nother kind of pressure. Some students are demonstrating both with their behavior and their grades that they're just not ready for this and they might need to take a gap year. And I think more and more parents are getting ready for that kind of alternative. And in your case, it sounds like your daughter, it was more of a pressure cooker and wanting to get right into the right school. And what I would just say is there's more than one right school, and that having support, sometimes there can be a college counselor out there who could help guide you either with the school that you're at, or you can hire one privately, but getting somebody who really knows the ropes to work with you. Often in school settings, whether it's private school, public school, there is a college counselor there to help with that. And they can really kind of walk you through what it all is. But finding out who knows and getting those answers is important. There's no reason parents need to figure this all out. It's kind of like figuring out how to get ready for a fire drill in the middle of a fire, right? You don't need to do that. That's just,
Right.
that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. And neither does this make sense. So knowing, hey, guess what? College, it's a big deal. Do you want to go? When do you want to go? Where do you want to go? How do we prepare for this? What are the steps we take? Guess what? There's information about all this out there. And there isn't a reason to stress about it. And there isn't a reason also that it should all be on parents. There are plenty of services out there to support students in writing their essays and figuring these things out. Both, some people have resources to pay for that. Other people can do that in creative ways. You can do swaps where families get together and swap kids and say, well, I'll read your kid's essay, you read mine, and that you don't have the parent doing all the work of this, because that really strains the relationships between parents and kids. And I would also say to parents, it's very, very important that you let your kid tell you what they want to do, because parents sometimes don't do that. They presume a lot about the right way forward, how we're going to do this, and they don't let their children talk with them about things that parents might think of as less popular. Some parents think, well, you should just go to college. Everybody goes to college. Well, guess what? Everybody doesn't go to college. That's one thing. Some people go to technical school. That's also a great route. Okay. Some people just need a little break between high school and college, and parents working with kids around who are their kids and what do their kids need to flourish during this time and to really own their own reality as much as possible. Because again, this is a time of transition to more autonomy. So this generation of parents has a tendency to be helicopter parents. And by that, I mean they zoom in too close and take too much charge in the face of anxiety in a certain subgroup of the culture here of, educated parents want so much for their children to have so many things. And that's great, but not at the cost of the child having their experience. It's not just the destination, Dennis, it's the process. We have to let our kids walk through this process and have their journey. We don't want them to have it later out of view when it's totally overwhelming on their own. We want them to have it now when they're in the safety of home, and they can begin to manage some of the frustrations and disappointments and excitement and all of it, and begin to do, again, more skill building and coping strategies. Because sometimes when kids get to college, they bail out or they melt down because they're not prepared for what's coming next. And they don't even understand basic things about like how high school is different than college. Like in high school, you get a handout to do and you do it and you bring it back. In college, you get a syllabus for the entire semester. Some kids don't even know that till they get to college, and they have to manage their whole semester and all their projects on their own. Now, as you get later as a high school student, you understand that, but earlier as a high school student, you might not understand that. And depending on how involved parents are, that's a whole nother piece. If you're very involved with your kids, you're actually crutching them, because later They need to be able to do this on their own. They don't need you hovering about them. They need to get their sea legs and figure out how to do these skills on their own.